And your answer to the $1,000,000 question was you'd rather hit the driver through the soccer goal. Now, just to be clear, I'm not talking about a little penalty shot. I'm not talking about a 15-yard little chip shot where you're just kind of bunting the driver. I'm talking about your normal full swing, standing over on the tee, and one-hopping it at your normal driving distance into a soccer goal. Now, you might be wondering how just asking this little question is going to let me know about your swing. Well, there are some common traits among really good drivers of the golf ball who have a good combination of both accuracy as well as distance. And as we go through the video, I'm going to key you in on those. But for right now, I don't want you to worry, okay? Just because you chose driver doesn't mean that you're terrible with your irons, that you could never have success. It just means that your swing is more geared towards a driver swing. Let me give you an example of a tour pro who has a swing that is very much geared towards a driver swing. His name is Graham McDowell. He won the US Open a couple of years ago, and he seems to always be in contention at the US Open because he's such a good driver of the golf ball, and the US Open demands good driving. So if you stay to the end of this video, I'm going to give you some strategies and I'm going to give you some drills on how you can adjust your normal driver swing for an iron. Now, if you do these drills, I expect that you'll be able to hit 4, 5, maybe even 7 more greens per round just from understanding these key differences between your natural driver swing and the ideal iron swing. So why is it so essential to understand the difference between the ideal iron and the ideal driver swing, and what are these differences? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this section of the video. So you can see that I've got 2 golf balls here, right? Both of them, one's teed up, one's not. I'm going to show you the basic difference between the iron and driver swing. Now understand that there are a bunch of subtle differences, but this is going to be one of the biggest ones that kind of drives a lot of the other subtle things. And the thing that we're going to talk about is called axis tilt. It's a fancy word for what the angle of your spine is as you approach impact. And the way that we're going to look at it is the relationship of your shirt buttons to your zipper. So if I were to set up for this driver and then go up to the top of my swing and come on down, you answered that you tend to prefer to hit a driver. Well, most good drivers of the golf ball are going to have a fair amount of this axis tilt. So you can see that my shirt buttons are a good 6 inches, 8 inches behind the golf ball, while my lower body is, or my zipper is even with the golf ball. So this is 8 inches of difference in my axis tilt. Well, the guys who are really good with iron play, they tend to do the opposite, or at least they don't do it quite as much. So when they go up to the top of the swing and they come on down, they're only going to have maybe a couple inches, and if you were to look at the shirt buttons, that actually fall pretty close to on top of the golf ball or even a little bit in front of it. So this difference in axis tilt helps control where the bottom of your swing is, and therefore how solid you're going to hit either a driver or an iron. Because with the driver, by having a lot of this axis tilt, it tends to create a very flat path, which allows you to launch it high with low spin, which helps the ball stay pretty straight and even have a little bit of a draw to it. Where that can be a big problem is when the ball's sitting on the ground, because this axis tilt gives you a tendency of having the bottom of the swing behind the golf ball. So where it will show up the most is especially in short shots and especially in half swings or less than full swings. Because what'll happen is when you create this axis tilt, in order to not hit the ground, you have to maintain a fair amount of lag. If you were to release your arms, the club would bottom out behind the golf ball and you would hit it fat. Or the club would start to bottom out and you would pull your arms in, have a little flip release, and you would hit it thin. But both of those scenarios don't allow you to fully extend your arms, which makes it very difficult to control your low point with your irons. So the way that we're going to accomplish that is by going through a couple drills here in a minute to show you how to accomplish a more stacked axis tilt and still feel comfortable over the golf ball. So pay attention to the drills, and we'll show you how to take your driver string and adjust it for your irons. Okay, your first drill is called the 1-inch lean. So if you're not doing this, if you're not leaning forward during the backswing, then what's going to happen is you're going to preset some of this axis tilt too much during the backswing, and you're not going to have enough time to correct it on the downswing. This can be a great movement for power, and this can be a great movement for hitting the ball with a flat angle of attack, like what we want with a driver. But when you're trying to hit down on the ball, like with hitting an iron, this can be problematic. So here's how you do the 1-inch lean. You're going to take a either an old club shaft or an alignment rod like I have here, and stick it in the ground. This is just going to give you a visual reference point. Okay, so you're going to set up to the golf ball so that this is roughly in front of your shirt buttons. And now what's going to feel incredibly weird to you is when you make a backswing, you're actually going to let your upper body shift 1 inch in front of this alignment rod. Okay, it'll look something like this. So you're going to shift in front just like so, and then when you swing down, you're going to pretty much stay there and use the normal biomechanics that you've been using that makes you a great driver with a golf ball. What this will do is this will tend to shift your path a little bit more left or take away some of the hook that you may hit if you're a really good driver of the golf ball. So by staying on top of the ball, you're going to have a much better chance of getting compression and getting the sweet spot on the ball, as well as eliminating the fat shot that tends to happen when you get too far back with an iron, unless you have a really good awareness of being able to use save the lag in your hands. So practice this one to learn how to keep the upper body a little bit more on top of the ball, and it'll help tremendously with the amount of axis tilt that you have with your iron game. This next drill is called the merry-go-round drill. This drill is designed to help you understand where the upper body should be with an ideal iron swing, or how you're going to cover the ball a little bit more with your chest. Because if you're a really good driver of the golf ball, what you may have a tendency of doing is you may have a tendency of having that upper body kind of stand up and stay back, which really helps the path swing low to high, into out, which is great for hitting a solid driver. But it can lead you to thin, fat shots and big overhooks or big pushes with your iron play. So we have to make sure that we learn how to temper that amount of axis tilt and get a little bit more covering the ball with your chest. So the merry-go-round is a pretty simple drill. You're going to take the club and place it across your shoulders just like so that part of the club is sticking out past your trail shoulder. So I'm a right-hander and I've got the club sticking out past my right shoulder. I'm going to get into my golf posture, and then from here I'm going to do a little bit of a weight shift, and then I'm going to turn my upper body so that from my point of view that shoulder looks like it's kind of pointing at the golf ball. I'll do it again. So I'm going to shift and then I'm going to turn. This is showing you where your upper body should be when your arms are pretty much extended like so and pretty close to where they'll be at impact, just like so. If you're a good driver of the golf ball, what'll end up happening is when you think you're at impact, your merry-go-round is still going to be pointing back there. So the reason that this is called the merry-go-round is you're going to be the center of the merry-go-round, and the club is going to be the outside of the merry-go-round where the kids are going around. And you're going to make sure that the kids rotate around instead of getting dumped off to the side like so, which is very problematic for hitting good iron shots. So practice the merry-go-round, and you can combine that with a little bit of the 1 inch shift in the backswing, and both of those will help you feel what it's like to keep your shirt buttons more on top of your zipper, which will help you compress the ball better and get a much better flight with your iron game. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I encourage you to try these drills because I know how big of an impact they can have on your game. That's the good news. Unfortunately, here's the bad news. Golf is a cyclical event, as in you're going to have times when you improve and you're going to have times when you're struggling with your game. It happens to everyone. Take the best in the world. Look at Tiger Woods. Over the last 10 years, he's changed his swing 3 times, worked with different coaches, and Tiger's got a roadmap to go back to. When he loses his game, he can go to his coach, talk to him, and they figure out what they need to work on to get it back. Most amateurs are lacking in that roadmap, and so what happens when they lose their swing is they can lose it for a week, a month, or an entire season. Maybe you've had that happen. I don't want that to happen to you, and that's why we've created Golf Smart Academy. Golf Smart Academy is your roadmap of what to do on how to learn the key movements and positions in the golf swing and where to go when you get lost to find the answers. So let me give you a few reasons why you should join today. Golf Smart Academy is like having your own personal golf coach. When you go to have a golf lesson, the first thing an instructor is going to do is he's going to ask you some questions about your game and figure out what your major issues are. When you know what that is, he's going to design a plan for you to follow. The first reason you should join Golf Smart Academy is that we already have programs in place. Whether you're struggling with a slice, lack of distance, or trying to get out of a bunker, we have programs that you can follow to learn all the key pieces to each of those issues. So the second reason you should join is because of our feedback. See, when you're taking golf lessons, you're going to be able to interact with the coach and ask questions and get feedback. Well, our site is no different. when you are trying these drills or following these programs, you're able to ask questions or even submit a video of yourself swinging the club or doing a drill. Our instructors will then watch the video and send you a video response telling you exactly what you're doing well and what you could do better. And third, although we offer all the benefits of working with a golf instructor, let me give you one major reason why we're different: the cost. You see, if you were to take a golf lesson, it's going to run you anywhere from $80 to $200 per hour depending on the quality of the instructor. GolfSmart Academy is a fraction of that cost. And when was the last time a golf coach offered you a money-back guarantee? So if you're frustrated with your golf game and you're tired of endless lessons that just don't get you the results you want, come join GolfSmart Academy today. What do you have to lose except for a few golf balls? Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you on the inside.